Now on the Locked On Celtics podcast, if you ever wondered how the Celtics would look if the preseason expectations were right, well, now you know after watching how they played against the Charlotte Hornets.
Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them every Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts on the weekends when they play, like Friday night. Celtics play the Mavs. I'll have a bonus podcast there. But also during the week, I dropped a bonus podcast as I very plainly hinted that I would. So during the week, you'll get bonus podcasts as well. Make sure you're subscribed. Get the show in your feed on YouTube and get into the comment section there. I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Celtics on SI. I've been covering the team for about 20 years, doing this podcast for about 10. And today's show is brought to you by, well, Game Time. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Celtics got smoked by the Charlotte Hornets. They never led. It's only the second time this season that they have not led in a game. They didn't do anything that they normally do. They looked terrible basically throughout the game. Any brief period of, hey, maybe they're getting some momentum here, that went away quickly. They looked like how I think they would look like if all of the preseason expectations, if all of the stuff that people have been saying about them before the season started, if all of that stuff actually came true, I would say if they lived down to the expectations, this is what the team would have looked like. So later on, I'll get into the bigs who were awful. For the first time this season, all the bigs were terrible. The second segment, I'll get into the things that the Celtics didn't do that they normally do that would keep them in games like this, like the offensive rebounding and causing turnovers. I want to start with the buzzsaw, the absolute just kind of what the Hornets are doing right now. 6 wins in a row, 10 road wins in a row. The wins by 15 plus games. They've won all 6 games by 15 plus. It's the Hornets right now are just rolling. I was listening to a little bit of Locked On Hornets on my way home. I just kind of wanted to see what their reaction would be. And let me tell you, they are over the top over there. They are talking about championship contention right now. This win over the Celtics has got them giddy. So, I would recommend going to check it out because they are flying high. No pun intended with the whole Hornets thing. So, the Celtics came out just frigidly ice cold, unsustainably bad. They were, no matter how you slice it, awful shooting. They were they shot 30 of 79 overall. They were 10 of 36 from 3. So not only did the Hornets limit their 3-point makes, they limited their 3-point attempts. The shots in the paint, 5 of 12 for the Celtics in the restricted area. That's compared to, what were the Hornets? 9 of 13. I just want to pull this over here and take a look. 9 of 13. So they made 4 more with 1 more attempt. The Celtics just missed layup after layup after layup. And that was part of why they were unable to do some of the things they normally do. When you're 5 of 12, so you miss 7 shots at the rim, it's hard to get those rebounds. Those turn into opportunities at the other end where it's a 5-on-4, right? The guy who takes the layup misses, and invariably his momentum is taking him away from the basket. Like Joe talks about this all the time, and it's one of the most under-discussed elements of basketball where, yeah, live ball turnovers are the worst thing that can happen. You're dribbling, they steal a ball from you, they go the other way. That's always, and there was plenty of that too. There was plenty of that as well. But that being the worst thing that can happen, a missed layup can often be the second worst thing that can happen, more than piling up the missed threes and all of that stuff. People say, well, you miss a three, you get the long rebound, the team can get going the other way. But yeah, you also have everybody's momentum is kind of going back this way. You even have the guy who shot the ball can get back. He could be the first one back to stop a fast break. Whereas the guy who shot the ball and missing a layup, that guy is under the rim. He's probably out on the baseline somewhere. Maybe he's fallen. Maybe he's complaining to the ref. And that invariably gives you a disadvantage or gives the other team an advantage. So the Celtics, their inability to hit from basically anywhere on the floor, they had a little bit of success later on in the paint. They non-restricted, which they were 14 of 27, and they were 2 of 3 from the left corner. Everything else was they just couldn't hit a thing. So number one on the things that cost the Celtics was they couldn't hit shots, while the Hornets were +9 in 3-point make. So right away, that's a 27-point hole. You got to make up that 27 points somehow. And the Celtics couldn't do that in either end. And what you don't have is the shot margins. You don't have the Celtics shot 10 fewer shots, and the free throws were basically even. So the Celtics had 20 free throw attempts, and the Hornets had 21. So the shot attempt numbers are pretty accurate here. There's no, sometimes it'll look like, oh, the Celtics only had 79 shot attempts, but they'll have 30-something free throws, and they really had a lot more shot attempts. They just got fouled on a bunch of them. But this is all equal. It's all leveled out. The Celtics just couldn't find another spot anywhere in this game to make up for what they couldn't do shooting-wise. That margin right there, losing the 3-point battle by 27, you lost the game by 29. That's it. That right there, you can just wipe that's where you lose the game. And it's true in the most basic way. That is where you lose the game. But all the other stuff the Celtics couldn't do and couldn't make up for, that's why they lost it as badly as they did. And listen, the bottom line for the Celtics in this one, they didn't have it. They never had it in this game. Jaylen after the game was talking about how it's on me. I'm the leader. We had no energy. It's uncharacteristic, which it is. The Celtics had no energy. Hell, the building didn't even have any energy. Everything that could have gone wrong in there, including why am I doing this podcast from my home studio? Because the alarm was going off in the building. So nothing went right at TD Garden. The alarm after the game, when we were working the back, started going off. And so I just left and just didn't record my podcast there like I wanted to. Had to come home. Everything was going wrong for the Celtics. And it happens. Again, in the most basic way, you can just say, you didn't shoot well. They did. You didn't have the energy. It happens. You move on. You flush it in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously, Joe Mazzulla is going to say, you never just flush anything, because there's always, you can go back and look and see 15 plays. Like he said, there's always 15 plays you can go look at. And there are, for sure, that the Celtics could have made a difference here. A lot of them were just layups that if you made the layup, things would have changed. If you want me to sum up this game in one sequence, we go to the end of the third quarter. End of the third quarter, the Celtics made a little bit of a run. Okay? There was about 3 minutes to go at the end of the third. They put together an 8-3 kind of spurt where they started down 22, they go down 17. Okay? They get a stop. They come down. Jaylen Brown gets a pick from Nikola Vučević, and does an amazing move. Goes left, crossover right, Pinoy step over, goes to his left, and it's right there. The ball was hanging on the rim literally 3 full seconds. 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003. That's a long time for a ball to be sitting there on the rim. It's usually like boing, in and out. Fraction of a second. Even just a couple of bounces, it's 1 second. They had almost 3 seconds of the ball sitting on the rim by the time it went from Jaylen Brown's hand to the rebound. He makes this great move. He blows the layup, right? It just lips out. And you're like, oh, man, this is brutal. And they get the ball. They go the other way. And in a span of 33 seconds, they put up six straight buckets. So the Celtics, instead of that layup falling and being down 15 with about a minute left, that's more than an opportunity. There's 3 more chances to score, right? With 59 seconds on the clock, the Celtics can come down and get stops and get 3 more opportunities to score. That would be the 3. So it'd be 2 more opportunities for that. So you come down, you go up 15, you go down 15. If you come down and get a stop, come down, score 13, you have the potential to be down 11, even 10. It was an 8-3 run. If you put together an 11-3, 12-3 run over that, just score a few more buckets there, you get that bucket and 2 more, the entire dynamic of this thing changes. Everything changes. But he misses the layup. They score 6 straight points, and you go into the fourth quarter down 23. So that's the microcosm of this game, where the Celtics just, when they finally mustered some level of momentum, they miss a layup and Charlotte just comes down. Boom, boom, boom. And you're like, got nothing. Deflated. That game over at that point. Second chances, turnovers, staples for the Celtics. Absolute staples. They couldn't get either of them. I'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. It's time for the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft with 18 flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, and Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. And I got the number 1 pick for the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft. The Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, Cotton Candy are all sweet, but no sugar. This is the big thing here. Now, if you have a sweet tooth, these are great ways to satisfy a sweet tooth, get your energy without the extra kind of sugar crash. I'm not as big a sweet tooth guy, so my number 1 pick, I've kind of gone back and forth, right? I get multiple opportunities to make my picks. I've gone grape. I've gone strawberry watermelon. I think today I'm just going to go with the straight old berry. Just a big, bold berry flavor, slightly sweet, very fruity flavor. It's a classic mixed berry flavor with notes of raspberry and blackberry. It's smooth without being overly sugary. A light tartness keeps it balanced. And it's a familiar, easy to recognize fruit profile. Put that in a 5 Hour Energy shot. When you need a little bit of a boost, you get that perfect taste without too much of that sweetness. Mwah! Perfect for me. So that's going to be my number 1 pick tonight. You can find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available at 5hourenergy.com, 5hourenergy.com, or you can pick one up at Amazon. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that's tough. That part has not always been easy. And especially, though, if you're a Celtics fan, maybe that Charlotte game down in Charlotte in a couple weeks there, maybe you want to use the Game Time app if you're down in that way to get your hands on some tickets. It's very easy. You have all-in pricing. So if you're not familiar with the arena down there, you open it up, you'll see what the price is, whatever it says. If it says $75, then that's what you're going to pay at checkout. You get a view from your seat. If you don't know what the section numbers are, you say, what does this seat look like? It'll show you on the app. This is what the seat looks like. And then if you want to do a zone deal where you pick the section and the Game Time picks the seats, then you will save a little extra there. It's great for last-minute options. It's quick. It's intuitive. Stress-free from start to finish. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. I've used the app a few times, so I don't get this. But if this is your first purchase, you get that Locked On, the code Locked On for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, if you're using the web, it's gametime.co. Gametime.co. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Check out Locked On NBA, Locked On NBA Game Night. Game Night is 7 nights a week, covering every game in the league. At Locked On NBA is during the week, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. They're both in the same feed. So you want to catch up on the games and catch up on the big storylines, you get both podcasts in the same place. The Celtics normally, in games like this, give themselves a chance by getting offensive rebounds, by protecting the ball, and by turning the other team over. They did none of that in this game. None. And this is the most amazing stat to me in this, is that the Celtics only had 5 second chance points. 5. They had 0 in the first half. That is so unlike the Celtics, because that's what they live on. That Joe Mazzulla has his guys playing with energy almost all the time. And again, look, if you've played basketball for any extended amount of time, you know that sometimes a game like this happens, right? You ain't got it, and it's never getting there. And unless you get that layup and get that momentum, get that crowd behind you, it's just not happening. And we've all had those days at our own jobs, right? How many times have you gone to work and just been like, my brain is mush today. I got nothing for nobody today. So I'm done. I'm going to online shop today. That's what I'm going to watch YouTube vids, and whenever the boss walks by, I'm going to quick change and make it look like I'm working, but I'm doing nothing today. Can't do that when you're a member of the Celtics. Can't do that in a pro setting. You're going to get embarrassed by, in front of 19,000 people. Happens. All right. It happens. They didn't have the energy. They couldn't go out there and grab the offensive rebounds like they normally would. And a lot of those, like I said before, were missed layups. And so it's hard to get those. But the Celtics energy wasn't there, wasn't strong enough to go in and crash the boards. And to only get 5 second chance points, Celtics shot 30 of 79. That is 49 misses. 49 misses. And you had 9 offensive rebounds. I don't even know what that percentage is, but I'm going to do it real quick. I have a calculator. So they missed 49 shots. They 18.4, around 18.4% of their misses. It's just a terrible percentage. The Celtics have been up. They've been much higher than that. In fact, while I'm talking, I'm going to pull up the stats because that is possible here. Isn't it? Well, maybe not. Maybe, it was possible, and then it is not. But I can tell you what, their offensive rebounding percentage is super high. And okay, here it is. I gotcha. I know I'd get there. 34%. This is high quality podcasting. 34%. And what I say they were before, 19, 18%. That's obviously a horrible, horrible, horrible offensive rebounding rate. So to miss 49 shots and only get 9 offensive rebounds, with the team that you have, with Neemias Queta out there, 1 offensive rebound. He only played 16 minutes. I'll get to him in a second. Nikola Vučević, 16, almost 17 minutes, 1 offensive rebound. Luka Garza got into the game for 15 minutes, 0 offensive rebounds. What? Luka Garza, none? The only person who crashed and got rebounds was Hugo Gonzalez, who had 4. Jaylen had 1, Sam had 1, Nemi had 1, Baylor had 1, Vooch had 1. That's it. And then Hugo had 4. So he had almost as many as everyone else combined. You're not going to win game. If you're going to miss these shots, and it happens, you need to get offensive rebounds. And look, shout out to Joe Mazzulla, because I talked about it after the Nuggets game. I said, when you're missing these shots, you got Luka Garza there. Why not use him? And, Joe learned that lesson himself, right? It's not like he listened to me, but the team didn't have it in Denver. They ran out of gas. Their legs went away. And I said, hey, why not have, an energy guy, a rebound guy? And to Joe's credit, the next time that happened, he did go to Luka Garza. Luka didn't have anything in this game either. And then the turnovers. You're not getting offensive rebounds. Can you turn the other team over? Nope. 5 turnovers total. And I think it was 3 before garbage time. So heading into garbage time, it was three turnovers for 3 points. And the Celtics overall 16 turnovers for 21 Charlotte points. So you lose on the shot margin. You lose the turnovers. You lose the offensive rebounding, second chance points. You lose. That's it. You have no chance. You have no chance if that's the case. So, wow, what did the Celtics do? I mean, this is couldn't hit, didn't have it. They didn't have anything. The bigs were the worst, absolute worst game that the Celtics front court has played. I'll get to that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by TurboTax. It is tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. It's a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. Just like that, you're done. TurboTax experts work to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. You're an everydayer here with me Monday through Friday. Why not join the Everydayer Club? The Everydayer Club gives you ad-free audio compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcasting app. It's also giving you access to the Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for Celtics fans, just for NBA fans. So you've got that and more at lockedonceltics.supercast.com, lockedonceltics.supercast.com. I'll drop that link in the show notes for you as well. This was, I said at the top, if the preseason expectations that people had for the Celtics were accurate, this is what the team would look like. Jaylen Brown played okay, but not great. 7 of 19 shooting. His efficiency since January 1st has been bad. So he needs to get that efficiency back up. But either way, 20 points, 11 rebounds, which was good. 7 assists, which is nice. 7 assists on a night where the team is shooting 38% is difficult. So That's meaningful. So it was an okay game for Jaylen, but not a great game. He missed a ton of layups, and that hurts. But the preseason question was, could Jaylen get the job done? And, say, okay, this is okay, not great. Derrick White was good. He was the only guy that really came and played well. 9 of 17, 3 of 9, 8 of 8 from the line, 3 assists, a steal. Beginning of the third quarter, it was all Derrick, and they kind of got away from that. Again, the Celtics getting away from something that worked. Sure, if I go back and look at it, the Hornets defense had some adjustments that they made to kind of change how that went. But either way, Derrick White was going, and that really didn't do much for the Celtics. But okay, so you get Derrick White. Payton Pritchard, big ol' fail for Payton Pritchard. 0 of 6, 0 of 5 from 3, 0 points for the second time in 3 games. 0 points for Payton. I don't know if he's hurt. He kind of is grabbing at a wrist or something. But either way, but he had a big game in between those two. So it's not like he's incapacitated. He's just a rough time right now for Payton. So, and then you get to the bigs. So preseason expectations of Jaylen, could he do it? This would be the worst case scenario. Payton, could he do it? This is the worst case scenario. The bigs, the so-called worst front court in the NBA, something that I was sitting there saying, like, yeah, they might be. Okay, they proved that wrong, but in this game, that's exactly what they were. So when I said this is what life would be like if all those preseason expectations came to fruition, if like that's how it actually went versus them proving everybody wrong in every meaningful way, this is what the game would look like. This is what the Celtics would look like. And that's not a team that's 41-21. The bigs, Nemi, he banged knees or something. They were looking at his right knee. Something happened early on. He subbed out, was not even 2 minutes into the game. They were checking his knee, and then he got back in the game, and he looked, it was Nemi of last year. He's just flailing around and fumbling around and turning the ball over. And it was the absolute kind of worst case scenario for Nemi. Okay, it happens. It's one game. I'm not really worked up about it. It just happens. But that was literally, it's just his worst game. And I don't know what the knee thing was. He came back in and played, so I'm assuming it's not a big deal. Vuč comes in, nothing. He gives them nothing. He hits 1 3-pointer, gets to the line a couple of times, a few rebounds, an assist, he had a block, but nothing, right? So this wasn't a case of, okay, Vuč comes in and, saves the day. Nope, he didn't have anything either. So Joe goes to Luka Garza. Luka Garza has nothing. He hit a couple of shots. He, gets in there, was 3 of 5. He had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 0 offensive rebounds. He also had a block, but meaningless. None of the bigs performed well. Everything that could go wrong went wrong in this game. Jaylen's big, quote unquote, big night was inefficient, and he missed a ton of layups and had 3 turnovers. Derrick White, 29 points on 9 of 17 shooting is great, but they couldn't sustain that. It couldn't get him to carry them any further. No matter what he did in the beginning of the third quarter, he scored 8 straight points and made no dent, no difference, because the defense was just brutal. The drop coverage, going back to the bigs, the drop coverage was it was bad. It was problematic. And I got to go look at it again, but you can do drop coverage effectively, but you just have to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Everybody's communicating, because you have to navigate the picks a certain way. You have to make sure that you're getting a certain kinds of shots. And if you're allowing the wrong kind of shots, then the drop coverage can kill you. Hornets were 7 of 11 in the paint, non-restricted. You want to keep them in that long 2 area, that 6 of 16 in the mid-range. That was great. Why couldn't they keep them in that 6 of 16? Why were they giving up so many 3-pointers, which is what the Hornets do. They love to take 3-pointers. So the defense was kind of brutal along the way. They basically got nothing from anybody. Ugo had his moments. Baylor Shireman had a couple of moments, but nobody had anything sustained except for Derrick in the third quarter, and they got away from that. So flush it, move on. Dallas is next. That could either be the biggest game on the schedule because Jayson Tatum is coming back, or it could be, and obviously Cooper Flagg, or it could be a nothing because Cooper Flagg's been hurt and maybe he's not ready to play. Maybe Jayson doesn't play. So I don't know. I'm betting that it's going to be a big night. So we'll see. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll figure it out together. So a new podcast tomorrow, plus a post-game bonus podcast on Friday night into Saturday. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. And I would love it if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.